Hey, what's up guys, Mashin here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the big hidden things that Valve has been working on behind the scenes. We're going to be heading back to one of my past videos, checking it out. It was a video about Source 2, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little bit outdated. We made a prediction, we were slightly off. However, there is some very important things that are still going on that I kind of predicted in that video. But before we hop on into that one, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. The sponsor for today's video is SkinsMonkey. Now, if you don't know what SkinsMonkey is, it's one of the most fast and efficient ways to trade out your CSGO skins if you're just not feeling it right now. You can go ahead, hop on over there, claim an extra free $5 on your first trade if you've never used it before. Plus, if you want to deposit some real money, you can get an extra 25% on top of that to spend on the site. It took me less than 3 minutes to complete the entirety of the trade, and if you guys are looking to do so yourself, it'll be the first link down in the description, and enjoy the video. Now heading back to this video right here, we talked a little bit about Source 2, and we're going to be talking a lot more about Source 2 today because Source 2 is going to be playing a very crucial role in the future of CSGO. Now when I say Source 2, it doesn't specifically mean Source 2 specifically, it could be any sort of big update generalized by this term. That's one thing I really failed in that previous video. As I said Source 2, there was a lot of confusion. It really could mean any major update, however the most popular one thought after is Source 2. Now we gotta mention trademarks here because those are going to play a vital, so big of a role in what I'm going to explain. This right here is the old CSGO logo. It's very important you know this because this was registered back in 2015. Now this was registered in the 7th month or July of 2015, so it's quite old. Valve has it for 10 years. They don't need to renew it up until then. When we look at the information of this logo that they currently own, you can come down to the statistics here or this really information box, and we're gonna look at one thing, and that's the current use. This says yes. This means that Valve is currently using this for all of their software, or at least they're using it in some sort of capacity. But in that previous video, I mentioned that Valve had registered a new patent image. Now this is very important because they've really never done this before. The one example we mentioned is Dota 2. They did it with the Dota 2 logo 8 months before they released Dota 2. It's very important that they release it a certain amount of time period in the future, and we're going to go to that in just a second. This is the new image that they registered just a little bit ago. This was actually almost 8 months ago at this point, and you can see, at least to me, that looks like Counter-Strike. It doesn't look like Counter-Strike Global Offensive, it looks like Counter-Strike, the same thing that Valve has been tweeting about for so very long. I mean, it's even their Twitter banner. It just says Counter-Strike with the hyphen in between the words. It's very interesting, however, it's very definitive in my opinion. Now, when we checked out the information of this brand new logo, we noticed a couple major things. First up here, the intent to use. Valve has the intent to use this logo. Now, it's very interesting, and it seems like it's just right on cue that they would have this logo on hand for roughly their 10-year anniversary. It doesn't mean it's going to have to happen then. It could happen before that. It could happen after that. It doesn't mean it's going to be that date. However, that's roughly 1 year after the logo was registered, which is usually the turnaround time we've seen for Valve in the past. Anywhere from 8 months to a year is roughly what we've seen. One big concern I always see is why would they leak this out? Why would they give this out? Well, on the bottom here, it says that in the August 13th trial or the timeline of this patent, every application needs to have at least 6 months before it's really even assigned to an attorney. That's someone who's going to be able to grant this patent to Valve. So this is very important because we know there has to be at least 6 months between the filing of this and the actual turnaround time. And we've said in the past, it's about 8 to 12 months for Valve here, which is roughly where we're at right now. We're currently sitting at roughly 8-ish months, and we really haven't seen anything along the lines of Valve getting approved for this logo. So that could be a potential setback. We don't really know. It's just an interesting piece of information to note. Another very important area to check out is employees of Valve or people that follow it very closely. There's a couple people I want to mention here, one of which is Gabe Follower. This is probably the most popular tweet out there talking about Source 2. It basically mentions that there is some sort of Source 2 in the future for CSGO because we can see it over here in Dota 2, which is on Source 2. There is some sort of future there because they've got CSGO terminology over there. It's also very interesting, like I mentioned, checking out Valve employees. We got John John McDonald's, which is one of the most popular and well-known Valve employee. And if you ever check out John McDonald over here, he's got some pretty interesting tweets. He threw up one saying deleting unused code is so satisfying. Now this is about the most reachy we're gonna get today, because that could really mean anything. However, it is interesting to see them constantly coding stuff, potentially for a source too. We've also got other people like Kuzya here who claims sources in air quotation marks there, because I have no clue who he's referring to as sources. I've looked for a bit, I can't figure it out at all. He says that Valve will move from CSGO to Counter-Strike in the name and go to Source 2 pretty soon. Now this was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's really rough. Obviously here he's making some pretty on par claims. I mean, I think definitely in the future we're going to see that those words are going to go to T and CT. It's much more family friendly. It's going to get a lot more sponsors involved in the game, and whether you think it's a good choice or a bad choice, when we look at Valorant, I think it's definitely helped them over there. Valorant looks like a much more family friendly game than Counter-Strike does at this point, and I think that's something that Counter-Strike could definitely improve on going forward, is grabbing in a little bit more of that younger demographic, because it is going to still be very gory, but it's going to have those name changes, which I think is definitely something that's going to come for the future. Now, I've mentioned this a couple times as well. I just want to reiterate that this absolutely means nothing in the grand scheme of things. It took over a year for Valve to successfully move over Dota 2 and make sure everything was functioning properly. If this is the start of that, that'd be absolutely great. However, I feel like this is definitely something that's going to be released roughly equating to the 10-year anniversary if we're going to see something. Valve has no reason to do anything like this out of the blue. They've got a lot of things coming up. They've got the major coming up. They've got probably another case in the next 4 months, if that's not going to be the 10-year anniversary, which it might possibly be. The 10-year anniversary is going to offer a lot of great things for Valve, and I think they're looking at that. They have no reason to do anything super productive for their game at this point. I've said we've got the stickers coming up. That's going to be the next month. Everyone's going to be hyper focused on these stickers the next month, and that's no reason for them to put out a big update, because they've already got people interested. That's the biggest goal over there at Valve, is to keep everyone interested in the downtime. There is a lot of downtime in CSGO, especially when we're not in an operation, and their biggest goal is to keep everyone involved in the community. And something like this is a great way to get people involved. Doing everything Counter-Strike related is a great way to get everyone involved. However, at this point, there's not really any hard evidence to back this up. These claims have been made for 5-ish years at this point. I mean, it's been a long time that people thought Counter-Strike Global Offensive would be on Source 2, so I just want to throw that out there. Well, this video is a bit evidence-based. There definitely is a large piece of it that is speculatively based. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.